let's fix the lawnmower.
Here we have a 2018 Troy-Bilt Mustang 42-inch Zero Turn. As you can see here, if you're wondering what kind of model that you have, if you flip your seat up, you can find your model number right here. So in our case, this is a 17 ARC ACS 011, and it even still has the belt routing. Sweet. Also, notably, you have your blade item number, your extreme blades, low lift, sand blade, deck belts, bagger, mulch, blah, 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 blah. Anything you could ever need. And here is your common parts and item numbers as well. My son and I picked this thing up very cheap. Had some issues. So let's talk about how we diagnosed them. First things first, clicking when trying to start. So a couple things that could be, as you can see, that's a new solenoid. That didn't fix it. So we moved on. The next thing that we looked at was the battery, which that's a new battery. We knew the battery was bad. However, charging it and jumping it didn't really seem to make a difference. This is the starter that came out of it. As you can see, I beat the shit out of it. You know what? It helped. So what causes this? In our case, it was the bearings in the shaft. Very loose, moves back and forth. So it was getting hemmed up in the flywheel while it's trying to start. So it was a starter. What about the PTO? Here's a wiring diagram that you should follow. Pretty much from 2015 up, they're essentially the same, minus a couple of accessories. So take a look at this diagram. This is indicated on that diagram as your 20 amp fuse. Your solenoid will be called out on top. For the sake of transparency, the PTO switch broke. If we look under here, we can see that there is some black tape that is attached to these spindles. So in my case, these wires may not be OEM. We had to follow them back and figure out where they went to. So here's what I'm gonna do. Here's your hillbilly translation. This is your red wire going to your TPO. This black wire is only an extension wire, and it goes to your blue striped, which is going to go to your accessory, or on these models, in our case, your PTO activation 12 volt constant, which goes to your hot, going to your spindle to activate them. As you can see here, we have this green wire that has a plug on the end, and it feeds back into your harness. Now, if you pop that cap and you look, you'll notice there's green wire. This is going to run to your ignition, this white. So it goes back into the harness to your ignition to activate your spindle. It's a really good example why I don't like working on somebody else's electric work. Because the thing is, you don't know what they did or how they did it or what changed since OEM. I know in this instance, for this case, it was to activate the PTO by touching two wires together. However, this is my son's Zero Turn, and safety is paramount in this case. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean this up a little bit. Remember, the more connections that you have, the more likelihood of failure and the more resistance that you get on your energy system. So you want to eliminate as many connections as you possibly can. So in our case, I know that this wire goes to our striped blue. So I'm going to just completely remove this wire because this is an additional connection. You can trim this end, and we're going to hardwire it together now that I know that the PTO switch activates. It's loading up. I used to hope someday Some random person might give me $1 million, or somehow I'd miraculously make millions of dollars. What I learned was that the things that I did get wasn't $1 million, but was much more valuable than that. The things that people gave me was knowledge. The more that you know how to do yourself, the more money you can save. But more importantly, the more useful that you are when it comes to trading. If you can build fences, you can build chicken coops, you can do remodeling, construction, whatever, well, son, you're gonna be okay. And if you don't know how to do those things right now, well, welcome to my channel. I'm gonna teach you. Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. So will his kids. And my goal is to teach as many men how to fish as I humanly possibly can before I go home to be with Christ, just as my Lord has commanded me to do. So welcome to the Fisherman's Club.